The man saw his wife handing 2 cups from their house to a black person. After his wife sent them away, he disgustedly picked up the cups with 2 fingers and threw them straight into the trash can. Soon, the wife found the cups in the trash, but helplessly picked them up again. However, the man never expected that his life would be completely changed by a black man. The man had once been a bodyguard at a restaurant. Whenever the boss called him, he would immediately rush over and escort troublemakers out. However, the bar had to close temporarily for renovations, and the man was unemployed. Soon, a friend called to introduce him to a job. The man quickly went to the interview location, and upon entering the room, he noticed many valuable items. Before long, a well-dressed black man came out and sat on the high chair in front of him. It turned out that the employer was this black man, who was also a very famous pianist. His attire and behavior were completely different from the man's impression of black people, but the man's prejudice against black people had not vanished. He learned that the black boss needed a driver to take him on a tour of the racially prejudiced southern states, and the job was explained as not just driving but also acting as a bodyguard and taking care of his daily needs. Although the pay was tempting, the man refused the job because he could not bear to work for a black person. The black boss tried to convince him, and after hearing the boss praise him, the man asked for a higher salary, but the boss refused. The next morning, the man was woken up by a phone call. On the other end was the black boss, who agreed to the salary increase and even kindly asked for his wife's opinion. So, the man accepted the job. The company manager handed him a green book, a travel safety guide for black people, marking hotels and restaurants that welcomed black guests, helping them avoid unnecessary trouble. And so, they set off. The black boss only told him 2 things: the piano must be a Steinway, and a bottle of whiskey should be placed in his room every night. However, the man kept talking all the way, and the boss couldn't handle it much longer.
Tony, how about some quiet time?
On the way, the man stopped to use the restroom, but as soon as he got out of the car, he turned back and grabbed the wallet. Even though the boss was a wealthy man, he still didn't trust black people. That night, they finally reached their first stop in Pittsburgh. The musicians and girls downstairs were chatting and laughing, while the black boss sat alone on the balcony drinking in solitude, looking lonely. The next day, the performance went on as scheduled, and the black man, introduced by the host, was astonished to learn how famous this black musician was. As his hands danced on the piano keys, beautiful notes filled the air. The audience was deeply captivated, and the man was no exception. This was the first time he had heard such a beautiful performance, and from that moment, he began to change his view of the black man before him.